to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to a very, very special episode of the Cinementalists. It is 4:20. And you know what that means. We are very ready to discuss Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. It's an annual tradition. We've done it every year since the beginning of time, you see. Since the dawn of man, there has been Joe and I. And what we've done every 420 is discussed a film that has existed. It was the Big Bang, really. Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, originally released on March 26th, 2004. Bending time a little bit there. But it was written by James Gunn, directed by Raja Gosnell. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What's up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. Very, very different episode compared to the rest of the April slate that we've got here. The month has consisted of first-time viewings. For me and you, for the rest of the month, we've crossed off Children of Men. We did At Eternity's Gate. Last Friday, we just did The Green Mile, which, really pales in comparison to the vibrance and radiance that Scooby-Doo 2 gives off. But we're here at Scooby-Doo 2, a film that I have seen several times. And I am completely bewildered as to the fact that it has missed you all these years. Yeah. How do you feel upon your first viewing of The GOAT?
Well, first off, sorry to James Gunn and the creative team for taking this long to see it, I think, and I was trying to think of why. And I think it's purely... we only owned the first movie on DVD. Yeah. I mean, it was just simply my parents never bought it. We never bought our own movies, or it was never like a, I don't know, it would only be Blockbuster, I guess, or Redbox, where we might have had the direct input. But as far as just like movies that we own, our parents would just kind of buy random. I don't know. They would just kind of always randomly come home with a movie, maybe once every 2 months, or but yeah, it was just, we never owned it. So I think that's just why. But it's always been, I guess streaming available. So, Tubi, Scooby-Dooby 2, no excuse for anyone on planet Earth. I guess if you have internet connection, it's on Tubi for absolute free. You got to sit through, some ads. It sucks. It's whatever. Yeah. But
Scooby, though, they give you the movie for free,
Yeah, it's there. And, as required viewing is the first movie, I think it's just kind of extended, you just run these two on loop. Is there somehow a third movie that I'm missing even more?
No, I do not believe so. I only grew up on the first two. If there's a third one, I'm in the same boat as you were for this one. And I'm completely unfamiliar.
What?
Nah, Scooby-Dooby 2, which is just an incredible movie with an incredible tagline, which is do the fright thing. Do, of course, spelt with 2 O's, paying homage to a lesser movie by Spike Lee and Do the Right Thing. No, when people talk about the greatest sequels ever made, the list goes, and this is pretty universal at this point. This is kind of widely regarded, Empire Strikes Back, obviously. The Dark Knight, obviously. The Godfather Part 2, obviously. And last year, or a couple years ago, there was a new entry to that list that's been kind of widely accepted in Dune Part 2. But right among them, and this is universal, again, I say, everyone says this. This is something everyone says. Rounding out that top 5 and clearing all of them is Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. Did you know, this is a fun fact, no film had ever had a subtitle prior to Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. Monsters Unleashed was game-changing. There had never been a film with a subtitle, and furthermore, there had only prior to this been one movie with a CGI Scooby-Doo in it. It was the first Scooby-Doo.
This is true though.
Yes,
but
that's it.
The subtitle, that's insane. I mean, they actually
changed the game.
Revolutionary.
They changed the game.
I mean, by the definition of it, I mean that's crazy.
Every other film that has ever utilized the subtitle hasn't used it quite as effectively. You know, Now You See Me 3 was called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I, for one, think the film should have just been called Now You Three Me. But what do I know?
No. Oh my God. They fucking fumbled. Yeah, no, that's dang. That's incredible.
Don't get me wrong. They went for it. That's clever. Now You See Me, Now You Don't is clever. It's too long. It's not snappy enough. Yeah. You got to give the people something they'll remember.
That's catchy too.
Fantastic Four, The First Steps. No, drop it. Drop the. It's cleaner. Facebook. You see?
Dang. You don't get Avengers Endgame without Scooby-Doo 2. You know, think Infinity War. Nope. Nothing. You know,
Captain America Civil War. Avengers Doomsday. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. The Foundation.
I mean, the literal trace everything back. All of those movies to one. There's only one. That's insane. I mean,
no, like I said, this did come out at the dawn of man. This has existed longer than anybody besides you and I.
Yeah, it's these two movies dropping that what caused the Big Bang. It's like it's like one was, maybe the universe could have handled it, but then, the second one came and it's like, holy, boom. And here we are, life itself, and now we are blessed, we evolved to the point to finally see them in in movie format, but they've always been there. This is James Gunn just kind of tapped into something greater.
No, it's existed throughout history in various mythologies. Various mythologies, various religions. They have every single one of them, in some capacity, regarded Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and the first film. But this is a podcast about the second one, as holy text. This is something every religion agrees on. I believe it was Ezekiel 24 through 18 in the Bible, which says, Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed will do unto you what no man will ever be able to.
I read that verse the other day. That's crazy. I mean, it's like, it's wild. And yeah, I guess some might say the movies don't have much to say, or it's just following the day to day normal gang. This is nothing to them. This is just kind of what they do. But no, it's like there's so much deeper meaning throughout everything. I mean, it's
incredible!
Like
it was way ahead of its time in terms of empowering women. Daphne takes the lead here. I would say she's an absolute badass. She was a badass in the first one, but they take it to another level here. She is as badass as they come. They give Velma a step up. I mean, they even, maybe there was perhaps some forward-thinking queer representation, LGBT representation, as far as, the gender-swapped Shaggy briefly appearing. I know it cracked a few eggs back in the day. I know some folks were like, wait, that's a thing I can do? I might see about that.
Whoa. And then, flip the switch, you get buff Shaggy in the literal next 30 seconds. I mean, the hormones that are just flowing,
This movie might have made me buy. Not gonna lie, it might have done it.
Yeah, that's great. Like, I wonder what would have happened.
Oh, another movie that came after this with a subtitle: X-Men: The Last Stand. It was those two movies.
Damn. Wow, the subtitle revolution. Yeah, what we gotta assemble a list of every subtitled movie.
Yeah, nothing comes before Scooby-Doo 2
Family
Monsters
Tree.
Unleashed, though.
Yeah, boom. The literal Big Bang. Just one of them, and in one way of movies. I mean, James Gunn truly, I think this is how he knows how to write, just the group movies so well.
It's foundational to his his ethics, to his motive, to his what am I looking for? It's not motive. What is it? Modus operandi. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh man, what is the Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award doing?
They're just not caught up.
Jeez,
they're just not caught up, and I think this movie does a lot of stuff really, really effectively. For one, this might be blasphemous, because the sequel's never better than the original. But one thing that you can give this credit for is that I think when it comes to the original Scooby-Doo cartoons, this reflects those very effectively.
Yeah.
The original monsters from the cartoon, and the group dynamic. Scooby's funnier in this one. Shaggy's funnier in this one. I love the part whenever Scooby smacks him and he's like, I needed that. And then he smacks him and he goes, I needed that too. Then he smacks him and he goes, you're pushing your luck, Scoob. That's the funniest thing that's ever happened on camera. And that's backed up by facts.
Yeah. I mean, Matthew Lillard, he's just, I'm realizing, like, one of my favorite humans ever.
He's incredible.
Like, every time I see him on screen, I am just so happy. Like, he's, Shaggy is his kind of ultimate form. It's kind of, he's taking it easy on everyone here, and he said it's that buff time, that was his freshman year in college. That's nothing. But what this man has ascended to is other things, and then like just seeing him as an FBI agent in Daredevil. It's like, man, that's Shaggy right there.
Seeing
it's
him
crazy
as somebody who can see the other side. Yeah. See into the world between worlds, as it were, in Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh my!
He does travel. He does travel to the other place.
Is true.
Dude,
he's everywhere.
He's all over the place. Matthew Lillard really transcends.
You can't stop him.
You can't. Yeah. He is inevitable. It's just something that's going to happen. I think you could make an argument that everybody steps up in this one. Linda Cardellini, better than she was in the first one. Sarah Michelle Gellar, better than she was in the first one. Freddie Prinze Jr. even. I remember movie one, our discussion on that movie, what was that, 4 years ago now? Nearly 4 years ago. That's over on Geek With Me, by the way. We have discussed the first film in the franchise, and we hold it in very similar regard. I believe I said that my only issue with the first Scooby-Doo, if I had one, if I was picking nits, might have been that I wasn't the biggest fan of Freddie Prinze Jr. I think that those concerns eliminated. I love him in this. I think he really gels with the gang. And again, I think it's because we do have a little bit more of that cartoon accurate dynamic, as it were. Even though they sleep on my boys Shaggy and Scoob a little too much.
Yeah, Velma doesn't though. She had that sit down. She was like, "No, you guys have been heroes all along, and you just didn't know."
Bunny.
I'm like, "Oh my god," like, dang. And then
no, genuinely made me cry. It made me cry. Like multiple tissues, tissues necessary.
I was thinking of every emotion I felt during the movie, and it might have been every single one, and and then I also, like, I cried, I laughed, I had existential thoughts. I was
angry, at one point. Like, there came a point, like, it was bizarre. The full spectrum of emotion overcame me. Sometimes all at once, didn't know how to process it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, one time, spontaneously, don't even know how to explain it, I pissed myself. I don't know what it was.
Okay, I'm glad you admitted it. I mean, I had to piss shit. I think I came. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
that was the part I was going to leave out. Thanks, Joe. Way to out
function.
I
think it's just it's uncontrollable. I think, I don't know. It must be something within the movie. And I'm glad. It's out. It's okay.
We can own that.
I think if it happens, it's normal, guys. I think
don't
that's actually
be ashamed of shitting, pissing, and coming in your pants when you watch Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
It's kind of what they were
like I said,
after. I mean, it's the true 4D experience. I don't know. Like,
it's kind of the Matthew Lillard of movie watching experiences. You see, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there. Literally, in-game does not come without. It is truly inevitable. I mean, this dude. It's crazy. It all circles back. And I mean, I come on, the Seth Green, slow shot,
yep,
him walking up, and then like, I'm gonna be on first view. This is my first viewing, so I don't know where this is gonna go, and
you
I'm
think
like,
he's the bad guy? You think he's the bad guy?
I legitimately think I'm like, oh, well, okay, this is the classic, Scooby-Doo, and then like. After he was just yelling at that dude in the gym. Why was he actually yelling at that dude in like the junkyard? Like, what's he actually up to there? Like, that was never answered. So like, that's actually kind of
it's an old literary device that we call a red herring. You see, they're utilizing every tool in the belt to make you think Seth Green is the bad. He is the big bad. And don't get me wrong. Solid guy, but I think Shaggy and Scooby's, distrust of him and the whole like, I'm gonna make like your personality and split. I don't think they're far off, but that doesn't mean he's undeserving of love. I think that the only thing that, again, picking nits. If there was one thing that could elevate this movie from a 10 out of 10 to a 10.1, you know what I'm saying? It would be that James Gunn, as ahead of his time as he was with this film and the writing of it, Velma is just so obviously gay. I don't know. To me, she's always been extremely queer coded, even to a point to where I'm like, I think she's into Daphne. And this movie, whenever you see her looking longingly at a man, and not just any man, but Seth Green, who plays my least favorite character in all of Star Wars, Toto.
No, oh my god, I'm like trying to think what I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Star Wars. Oh my god,
if Toto got his brains blown smooth off, I'd be okay. Which I'm trying not to carry that bias into this movie when it comes to Seth Green. But Velma looking longingly at the guy who plays Toto it's not believable for me. You see, that woman is so beyond Toto's league. And see, I called him Toto. I called him Toto. I can't remove the art from the artist. And that's a personal problem. I can't hold the movie accountable for something that's a personal problem. So, I rescind the previous statement, although I do still believe Velma is gay.
I'm not as in the hate Toto camp as you, so I didn't even
I know, and it's actually the single worst thing about you.
That's crazy. Like, I had that nowhere on my radar while watching. This was just funny,
See, hard
to
escape it for me.
Yeah, it was just hilarious that I'm seeing Seth Green in this context. I don't know, or just like as this, he kind of also resembles like one of my cousins slightly. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's some shots where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it gets me like, well, that's just weird. So like, I that was the only thing I had with him. But no, that kind of freaks me out. That split personality. He's not worthy of Velma. No. I mean, that's just Velma.
He's not worthy of Velma.
True.
But he isn't not worthy of love. Like I said, he's a solid guy, solid enough guy,
that's
but
true.
he's got some stuff to work on, to be sure.
I'm worried for Velma. I'm worried.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Bit.
Stay safe, boo.
Like, he seems okay, but I don't know. That part kind of scared me a little bit. It could have just been a red herring. I don't know. But
regardless of the literary device in the red herring, within the context of the story, he is still like that's still something that happened. There's no escaping it. It wasn't an act. He wasn't putting it on for anybody. He did that.
Yeah. He was in like, what was what was truly the interaction going on there? Like like he was just yelling at a guy is kind of what I remember.
I think the context is that he has an inside man. I think that guy's not fully committed to the cause of the guys who are stealing the suits and, bringing them back to life and everything. And he's not all the way in on, the evil guys who hate the gang, he's just an insider who works for the museum as a means to kind of get out ahead of these things. He's not doing his job right, you see? He's not doing his job right. He needs to be able to avoid these problems before they happen. So, he's probably getting paid. He's probably getting paid well, even. That's a nice museum. Maybe the guy's just got to be better at his job. Maybe, just maybe the anger's justified. I don't know.
I'm thinking of Patrick a little bit differently. I don't know. But yeah, they do kind of ride off in the sunset. It feels like it felt nice, like in Daphne and Fred finally. Did they kiss in the first movie at all, or I feel like they never get. I can't remember in the first movie.
Yeah, I can't think so. Either.
I don't think so. But no, yeah, this movie felt not like the ending of the first one. I guess it's triumphant. It is happy, but like, dang, was it kind of really devastating there for a while, or like it just felt their souls were all trapped. It's like you gotta kind of get to the ending for a little bit. This one's just kind of like, it's just fun the whole time. Like they're dragging behind their van in their carpet, while Scooby's trying to drive.
Incredible.
I mean, come
Scooby-Doo driving, second funniest, maybe third funniest thing to ever happen on screen. In any movie.
Come on.
And the other one that makes top 3 for me is when Scooby, taking notes in the meeting, and they ask what he took down, he turns the page around and he goes, "Bunny!" And it's a bunny on this. He drew a bunny while they were talking. That's incredible. That honors the source material. And it just shows that James Gunn gets it. The gun doesn't jam. He understands. Yeah. He gets the characters he's adapting.
He's crazy with it. And the freaking house of the old man, what's his old man Winkles. Like legitimately the house of the intro of the cartoon.
Yes.
I feel like it. I feel like that's what they were going for.
Absolutely.
So that was just sick, and come on, they ring the doorbell, and then they get sent down the Rube Goldberg machine of freaking in robots. Oh my god, this comes before Robots. Robots is 2005. Oh my god, they legitimately were like, let's just do this, but for longer. The little ball that they all rolled down, to get trapped.
Oh yeah.
And down there with the cookie girl and the have you heard the good news? It's like, yeah. This movie has everything. Now that I'm like remembering more scenes.
Well, and I need the prequel. This hasn't been made yet, but I need a prequel that is The Adventures of Old Man Wickles in the Howling Bushes, because there's a point whenever he's entering his mansion and, Shaggy and Scoob are spying and they make a noise, they howl, and he goes, gosh darn it, those darn bushes, they've always been howling at me. What the fuck do you mean by that, Old Man Wickles?
Yeah,
I gotta know what you mean by that.
Again? You mean like... This has happened
before to you. Old Man Wickles, I gotta think there's an issue at hand. Perhaps mentally.
Yeah. Whenever they stroll up in the, I don't know what the bar was called. I feel like it was something funny.
The Faux Ghost.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, okay. There was something else named funny. I feel like I feel like that wasn't it. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back. But no, they enter there. All right. Let's keep it on the down low. and bam, let's they just get to dance it. James Gunn loves him a dance
loves
number.
He loves a needle drop. He loves a needle drop, and utilizes them pretty effectively in this one, much more so than the first one. And again, James Gunn is not the director. I don't want to give him all the credit. Raja Gosnell, great director, great editor, even better editor. He edited both of the Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Great editor. And obviously he made two of the really quintessential pieces of American cinema history, with Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2. But James Gunn, whenever Gunn has his hands on something, you can feel it. This is the best. I mean, James Gunn, he wrote, as far as I know, 2 movies in 2004. And I might be mistaken on the year for the second one, but I'm pretty sure Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, by the way, a Snyder by Gunn feature. I believe it was 2004. Has similar familial dynamics. It has a found family, and they come together to defeat the zombie threat. And you can tell that he's basically just he's ripping himself. It's Scooby-Doo 2 without the fun. It's like ugh.
Yeah. That's I see. This is truly the foundation in the way that strip away all the things you don't really care about and make the movie you just truly want to make. Boom, it's Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. And because this felt like their little Mystery Inc. Their headquarters. It was like so Fantastic Four esque.
Coolsville.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's clear that this is that it's all the cool parts of Fantastic Four and it just every Coolsville feels like a metropolis, kind of. It feels like they're legitimately superheroes in this world. I mean, they are. Shaggy is actually like an otherworldly being, and I mean Velma as well. She can
and Scooby.
All of them, I guess. They're kind of, they are the Infinity Stones, actually, so it's like...
They even come to the opening dressed like that. One of them's the blue one, one of them's the purple, pink one, one of them's the orange one of them's the green one. You see the vision.
Shaggy is time.
Vision.
This makes...
It all comes together.
Wow.
It's
Gravity power. Oh my God! Wait a minute. The fucking Soul Stone.
It lines
Velma,
up.
Lines up.
Velma would probably be the mind, but she is the closest to yellow.
Yeah.
She is the closest.
Scooby's the soul, maybe. Maybe he's closest to orange. I don't know. And then that leaves space. Fred. And Fred, goddamn, getting on the bike with the pipe joust. And he's like, "Hey guys,
take
this
the
man
long way around in the 7 kingdoms." I need him fighting side by side by Sir Dunk the Tall. I feel like he'd be down to ride for a little egg.
Ghost Rider had a baby.
Cool.
Of both worlds. He's Sir Dunk and Ghost Rider. If Ghost Rider was actually fucking sick, maybe after this Nick Cage kick I've been recently on and seen him.
You've been on a Nick Cage kick.
Well, I mean, or just seen him as a different. I've seen him.
Oh yeah, I forgot when we did Wild at Heart. You went on a little bit of a Nick Cage kick. I recall.
Yeah. And I always saw him as National Treasure and just kind of
Well, I don't know if you'll recall, but when we covered Ghost Rider on Geek With Me, we were both very pleasantly surprised with the first Ghost Rider. We were both like, I thought this was going to be a piece of dog shit. Now, what was a piece of dog shit was Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance, another subtitle, by the way. Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance is actually the complete antithesis to Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. It is my least favorite movie of all time. Definitely the worst movie watching experience I've ever had. And is also a sequel. So, again, the antithesis of this Scooby-Doo 2 being the best of the best versus the worst of the worst, we're making connections all over the place.
Oh, my God. I mean, yeah, it's truly, I thought it was just the foundation of this subtitle kind of, start. but no, it's everything. It's I mean it stands. I mean it. This is obviously, if a movie comes after this, you're going to base it off of Scooby-Doo too. Like, I mean, look the formula. It works, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's what Kevin Feige's truly chasing. He's like, how can I just recreate this? And he hasn't been able to. He got close with Infinity War. That shit was that was sick, but like, come on,
it was cool.
I'm not there. These
not
are two
Shaggy
movies,
in a green pimp suit walking into the club side by side with Scooby in a completely clashing era of disco suit.
Yeah, and oh my god, I mean, that was just insane that he took on like ultra human form, and
oh yeah,
and
he
just kind of sticking
this
out.
This is an incredible special effect. There comes a point where, and I might be wrong about this, but during the dance number, I'm fairly certain we're looking at a guy in a Scooby suit with a fake head that was later CGI'd to look like Scooby. And it's really impressive, to the point where, like, I wouldn't blame anybody for not seeing it. Of course, I have watched this movie several times and have had the chance to study every single frame. I'm kind of a scholar in the Scooby-Doo 2 realm, as it were. Like I said, the subtitle fun fact a little bit ago, I learned that, from my many, many years of research on Scooby-Doo 2. If you have any questions about Scooby-Doo 2, I will happily answer. That goes for the listener. That goes for you too, Joe. I'm happy to oblige. If there's anything that you feel like you're missing, trust me, I'm not.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I don't know if maybe a question will spring up. I had one theory that maybe could still work. I don't know.
Let me hear it.
Maybe if the third movie was in the cards, maybe he would have gone here. I was kind of thinking Seth Green, Patrick here, Nepo baby, or maybe grandson of old man Jankles, and this is like his slow in, and he would become this kind of on the fence guy, where he is kind of the bad guy, but he doesn't want to be because it's just his family. I see where you're coming from.
Let me take you a step further. I see him as Jacobo's son.
Oh, Jacob even better.
Yeah. You see the original pterodactyl ghost. He got away with it here. Forget everything I said earlier about Patrick, and maybe I have a new perspective of him. I'm going with your theory because I think you're absolutely correct in the sense that
he
Seth Green has a habit. Seth Green has a habit of playing the embodiment of pure fucking evil.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Toto.
It's the foundation. I guess they know where to pull from.
They know where to pull from, and he plays an absolute loser in that one episode of that '70s show. Maybe it was a few, but I know he was there. So all that to say, when it comes to the relationship, I could see him having to Jacobo, and kind of, he's clearly got money. It's his museum. It's his thing. What if he's a kingpin? Sort of figure. He's working from the shadows. These people are afraid. The people who get caught are afraid to rat out Patrick, because he will have them and their families killed. See, that's I wouldn't put it past him. He played Toto.
Yeah, we saw the real side of him at that junkyard or wherever they were. That's what he's getting down to. He puts the fear straight into you. I mean, he gets up close and personal, and just it's. I don't know. I had bad feelings about Patrick the whole movie. I know, and still to this point, I don't really feel comfortable.
Can't be comfortable with him.
It's Velma. If you're gonna be, he's I mean, it kind of inserting himself into the gang a little bit. This is a big deal. Like Velma is not just anyone, and not just I believe all of us are equal, but it's kind of hard when the gang exists. They kind of
we're not on their level.
It's okay to admit that, I feel like, I don't know if Patrick quite fits the same category that they're in, that they just feel, or Velma just feels, I don't know, and I have hesitation, and I don't want any hesitation for Velma or for the gang.
No, she deserves the best.
Yeah, and there's still something in the air with Patrick, and No third movie. I guess there was something in the cards. James Gunn was thinking about it. Couldn't quite get to it. But there was, I think, a remake. Or an
extended
a
cut
2009,
or
like a 2009 movie. It's 2009, 1 hour 22 minutes. Scooby-Doo: The Mystery Begins, and it's all new cast. So I guess but I don't think
it's probably just the same IP, not strictly. That's a TV movie. It's in the vein of all the other fun Scooby-Doo products we've gotten. Robbie Amell actually plays Freddy in that one. And if you want to know how low effort this piece of shit is, Robbie Amell didn't even have to change his hair color. He's rocking a brown head of hair for Fred. So I'm sorry to say, this movie can kill itself with a gun.
Dang. Oh my God. Yeah.
However, redemption perhaps. Haley Kiyoko does play Velma, who is a very, very, very famous gay person. So I feel redeemed here.
They did it. They finally made the leap.
Yeah. Yes. That's a very, very famous gay woman. And, and there was a recent adaptation on HBO, the animated series Velma, which I won't lie, I haven't had the privilege of watching, mostly because it came out to an absolutely horrendous slate of reviews. And which shouldn't be enough to hold me back, but I just couldn't do it. Where I believe Velma is expressly queer. It's kind of an adult adaptation of Scooby-Doo. But if I'm going to watch if I'm going to watch an adult adaptation of Scooby-Doo, let's just make it Rule 34 and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Let's just cut the middleman out. I don't care if they say fuck.
Yeah, that is truly the next evolution that we need. We need no holds barred. Just go balls to the wall. Let the gang, just rated X. Scooby
X-rated.
Scooby X. No, it doesn't roll. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to, what's the title of this one?
Scooby-Doo Me.
Scooby-Doo Me. Oh my, it's there.
Yes.
It's landed. All right, James Gunn. You've got the unlimited check already from DC.
Dude,
you can do whatever you want.
I see them popping up in It's a Peacemaker straight to max movie. Scooby-Doo Me. I think that there's I think that there's money here. Just saying.
It is Warner Brothers. Saying. It is Warner. He does own your run. Is it just DC? No, he doesn't.
It is just DC.
Warner
it is
Brothers.
just DC.
Yeah, no, that's not Warner. But never mind.
Well, and even that, we haven't brought this up yet. It was something I was kind of saving for Geek With Me. There's questions about the future of the DC universe because of the Warner Brothers Paramount merger potentially happening. CinemaCon was this week, and there was announcements for all sorts of stuff for years to come. And the only movie universe that didn't have an announcement for 2028 was DC, which is very, very concerning. Neither here nor there, but maybe it's because they're saving for the biggest reveal of all, which is a Batman by Mystery Incorporated mystery movie. That would be an ideal scenario. And I'm holding out hope.
I mean, they call Bruce Wayne, the world's greatest detective, but like,
bullshit.
There's a whole gang that exists that are all. They would put Batman to shame. Infinite prep time Batman. Give all the Batman, lovers, all the prep time in the world.
I'll tell you what. If Infinite Prep Time Batman, again, had all the time in the world to prepare to out-investigate Mystery Inc., Infinite Prep Time Batman would come to one conclusion and one conclusion only, and it would be that he has to buy a rope and he has to hang himself by it. You see, he would realize that this is not for him. He doesn't belong here. This isn't his game anymore. In fact, he's lost all hope. Batman, Infinite Prep Time Batman, he's actually worse off than just, hey, Batman, out investigate Mystery Inc. And because he'd have the hubris with no prep time to believe that he could do it.
Wow. I mean, if any Batman in any multiverse exists, he must have just not met the gang yet, because if he did, he would have hung himself. Like, it is maybe that black and white. What he'd break his own one rule, the no-kill rule. He kills himself. I mean, like, boom. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like, and he's so embarrassed. What can you do? You call yourself the world's greatest detective, and then you realize, oh, there's actually not just one, not just two. There's a whole gang that can.
There's five of them, and one of them's a dog. What am I worth?
Damn.
You see, it actually gets really dark. James Gunn, write that movie.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. I mean, and then the gang just take over the DCU, and then it's his full dream realized. This is his big grand plan, is to just wait for the perfect moment to drop the greatest. Oh my God, I'm thinking Dune. This is gonna be. I'm witnessing another great trilogy right before my eyes, and I'm so lucky to be able to see it in the now.
Kicking it off with obviously Scooby-Doo me first in a trilogy of epic Scooby-Doo films, all shot on film, IMAX film by Greg Fraser. They do utilize the volume, of course. It's Greg Fraser; he knows how to do it, but they don't rely on it. They don't rely on the volume. They don't become lazy. They put the effort in, and you really, really love to see it. Scooby-Doo me obviously sets the trend there. It's followed up by Batman Kills Himself. That's the title of the movie. They're trying to throw you off. See, they're trying to give you something like, oh, well, obviously Batman wouldn't kill himself, but they're like, it's flashy. It grabs people. You see, they reel you in, going, I gotta see. Batman doesn't kill himself, and then obviously he kills himself. Third movie, mystery title. We don't know yet. We haven't been privileged to that information. It hasn't been divined unto me by God Himself, aka Matthew Lillard.
Yes. Wow.
But yeah,
this is
the greatest duology of films ever is Scooby-Doo me and Batman Kills Himself.
Wow. And maybe Batman kills himself within the first 10 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is just another Scooby-Doo movie.
It's a classic. It's a classic. Yeah. It's a classic caper from the gang. See, it was a complete, again, a red herring.
Wow.
James Gunn, you've done it again.
I see the vision. I think I see what he's after. The pattern recognition. They're going off. And I think, he's got a grand plan for Scooby-Doo. The gang is still yet to return. Just wait. It's happening. I don't know. And that would truly, I don't care anymore of the Doomsday, or Secret Wars, seeing everyone together. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool, but like, if the gang
will the gang
to
be
return,
there? The gang won't be there?
Dude,
I won't be there.
Imagine the Wakanda, the Doctor Strange portal opens and just fucking the gang pulls through. But no, like if the gang were to actually return in their own, movie for a third, and like the actual core cast were to get back together, I would lose.
Wait.
Like,
did you say the gang's looking for a third? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean,
sign me up.
I would lose it if this actually happened. It would be greater than Infinity War, Endgame, all of the MCU combined. It would be. I mean, it just is. I shouldn't think that it's coming. But I don't know. I'm gonna hold on faith.
I'm gonna hold on.
It's gotta happen.
Just a little longer.
I gotta think. Everyone's still here. They're all. Are they all still?
Oh yeah,
in the game?
Oh yeah, they're all still in the
active.
Game. They're all very active, and they're all very. They might be more active than ever. Matthew Lillard's probably more popular, or the most popular he's been since the late '90s, early aughts. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze are just begging for nostalgia checks. I would look forward to them, getting them as well. But Linda Cardellini, she's actively in an HBO series that just happened, so she's still working closely with Warner Brothers. I gotta see it. And Scooby-Doo obviously is a real dog. So
Neil Fanning, yes, the voice cannot be uncredited. I guess he's not in much, but it's still last year. 2025, I guess, 4 episodes of Return to Paradise. He's still somewhat active. That's nice. So yeah, it's like, I just, if they're all still here, they're all still working. Come on, one more. Just I don't know. Well, if the first 2 were the Big Bang, is this the conclusion? Would the world be able to continue?
No. Yeah, see, the problem, and really why Warner Brothers hasn't coughed it up yet, is that it would end the world. But the thing is that it would be so powerful that while it would end this universe, it would start another. You see, it would end this, it would birth the next, and the cycle would begin again. In a millennia, me and you would be right back here talking about Scooby-Doo 3. Scooby-Doo Me. With the addended Batman kills himself. And we would just be talking about those like they're the greatest thing ever. And you know what? I can't wait for the next one, which would just be the original Scooby-Doo film. You see, it just keeps cycling. It just keeps cycling. That was actually how our universe began, and how the previous universe ended.
Wow. That would be sweet. I don't wish for the end of the universe. I hope there's still a long ways out, but if it's with Scooby-Doo Me, and that's what my transition is into the afterlife and into birthing a new universe, I can get behind that. That's cool. Yeah, let's run it. And maybe if I could change one thing, let's get movies. Let's get, maybe maybe I'm wrong. I was trying to say that let's get Scooby-Doo earlier to the people. It took too long to get it into movie format, so we can truly show it to the world. Where now it's on Tubi for free, so everyone. I think, or most people have access.
It's kind of a test from the divine. Almost like it trusts us to one day find our way to it. And it understands that the cycle will occur. It will happen eventually. But if that's as soon as we figure out cameras, if that's as soon as we figure out motion pictures, if from the moment we can do motion pictures, they were like, oh, shit, we should do a Scooby-Doo movie. Then that's when the universe would end and another would begin. If it's not till 3005 that a Scooby-Doo movie gets made and Childish Gambino writes a song about it, then that's when the universe would begin again. It's like I said, it's just a cycle, and I do think that whatever divine entity, perhaps made in Scooby's image, or Shaggy's, I don't discriminate, but it's definitely one of those two.
Maybe both.
Sorry. In my rewatch, Shaggy just turned into a woman. I'm bricked.
Yep, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity of woman Shaggy, buff Shaggy, and regular Shaggy. That's it's right there.
That's it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, they're trying. He's telling us clearly. Here's the fucking divine right in front of you. Here's the media, who's also the bad guy. Who's flipping what they're doing again. And playing both sides the whole time. Oh,
speak on it.
And by the way, am I thinking too far into this, or was he trying to poke at we get free minors? He's giving minors. We want people so that we can have free labor and free. But he says specifically, and then we can have all the free minors we want. And that's like,
Ooh.
that's a weird. That's a
that
weird.
is a weird, specifically in the context of it being child labor, is
Mhm.
also.
And you're having people, meet to invest in it, and it is an old I don't know. It's like it was. I don't. It felt like
Bunch of
maybe
old
he's
rich white guys. Yeah,
yep free
that's
minors, and then I'm like, oh
maybe
my
he is
god,
trying to say something. Maybe he is
oh my
trying to
god,
say something. Something too
yeah,
serious for me to comment on at the moment.
it's crazy. I mean,
The
yeah,
state that
that's
I'm
the-
currently in.
This is the only other theory I think that maybe I can even have of this movie. It's so airtight. Otherwise, that it was truly just the Seth Green uncertainty or Patrick. I don't know how to feel, and then I don't know that one presentation. I'm like, are you trying to say more? I don't know, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I invented a potion. Sorry, I'm watching the movie actively as you talk also, and it's impossible not to become immersed. One thing that's really, really interesting to me about Shaggy in Shaggy's form is that you spend so long with him as a woman, briefly, with a woman's body, I should say, not as a woman, but with a woman's body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you spend so long with him as a buff guy. That when he returns to his normal form, it's hard to tell if that's actually him, and you realize just how immaculately built he is. He's a beautiful looking man, and the costume design is doing a lot of favors for him. The long white sleeves, they work with the green shirt. They work with the corduroys. It's a good combo, and he's really got that shit on.
Yeah, definitely.
They all kind of got that shit on. They all kind of got that shit on in this one.
Mm-hmm. Image is everything. Daphne, says at the beginning, she's like, what do I tell you guys? Don't pick your nose in public. No. That's good, but no, image is everything.
Yeah, like that too.
And they're, they make sure that their clothes, do they? My question: do they have, 7 of these outfits that they go through, or is it one that they clean all the time? Do they not wash? How many of these outfits do they have? And what, because their closets are more than just their outfits, I guess. Daphne has like go-go boots and I don't know if that was in Velma's closet. I think what Velma was wearing.
Yeah, what are Fred and Daphne up to if Daphne had that in her closet?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. The only way that comes up is a hot Velma role play. You know what I'm saying? Or a sexy Velma role play. And whether it's on Fred or it's on Daphne, I'm not speculating. I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah. I mean, man. Yeah, it's like this. The gang, that's why I kind of wanted Patrick to work out. It was like Shaggy's got Scoob. Scoob's got Shaggy. Fred's got Daphne. Daphne's got Fred. Velma just always, man, she felt like she never had anyone. And like she had the rest of the gang. The gang has each other. This is true
for Daphne.
But and then maybe that's it. Is like that's why Patrick is so questionable. It's like it's always been there. But damn, man, it's like it's never landed. But Scooby-Doo me, I mean, you got to think they go to like they time travel. They just go back in fucking Greek times. They go in a fucking orgy house, and we just see the gang getting truly, get the gang bang. That's got to be thrown. That's the subtitle. Scooby-Doo me,
iconic,
gang banged. And so yeah, I think maybe the first double. So has a double subtitle ever been attempted? Like a Avengers Endgame Part 2, or is that? Or,
I feel like there has been double subtitles.
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, actually, we are actively discussing one on Geek with Me. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord.
Oh shit!
That is a double subtitle. I think technically a lot of the Star Wars movies have double subtitles because of the Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Oh. If you can call the episode title another one of the subtitles. I'm trying to think. Oh, I feel like there's another. I mean, there's been egregiously long ones. And, like I said a little bit ago, now you see me, now you don't. egregiously long in a negative way for me. One on the flip side, that in a positive way is egregiously long, is Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey and the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I love that title.
Yeah. I just looked up the longest movie titles of all time, but they're not. It's just long sentences. It's not subtitles like I'm trying to go for. And but Doctor Strangelove was the only one that had a colon. Doctor Strangelove,
yes.
How I Learned to Stop Loving the Bomb. I guess just a very long twofer, but no threes that I'm seeing, at least in this list. But not exactly what I'm after. But I think that's maybe the next. It'll obviously revolutionize in some way, and I can't see it now. Obviously, it's not going to be just as simple as a triple subtitle.
Hey, believe in yourself. You'll find it.
It might come to me. But I don't think it's a triple subtitle. I think that it's something more. That this is if it truly brings the rapture. This is what every holy text strip down the whole every holy text, and you truly get to the script or like the foundation of what Scooby-Doo is written on. So it's like let's drop the act, everyone. Let's all just agree on the Scooby-Doo religion. This is what all are trying to say.
It shall inherit the earth. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, we're very anti-fascist, and it might seem kind of fascist to put on every display on planet Earth these two movies on complete loop 24/7 and require the viewing. But no. It's for your own good. It's for the for the betterment of.
Don't get me wrong. It's radical. It's a big step. It's a big step. But something that everyone has to understand is that you aren't allowing yourself complete joy and complete fulfillment, really, if you don't have these two movies playing on loop 24/7 on at least one screen. I'm not saying it has to be all of them, but legally speaking, you do have to have it on one. At least that will be what we mandate in the new world.
It's.
Shit! I wasn't supposed to say anything about that.
That's okay.
Can we edit that out?
Yeah, it's okay. Well,
okay. Okay, thank you.
But
no, sorry.
Sorry,
I'm just really freaked out. I can't believe I said that on air. I gotta know you're gonna edit that out.
Yes, I can. Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I got the time. Okay.
Underrated costume design in this movie. The main bad guy, the red eyes, the robotic mask. Really pulls together the whole aesthetic of the classic monsters really well. I love seeing the maritime fucking scuba diver guy. I know he has a name, but it's unimportant to me at the moment. I love that they all end in ghost. That's always incredible. The pterodactyl ghost specifically, super funny to me.
The fucking cotton candy glob. And then I love how they're like, wait, huh? They're like, you're a monster, and they go to town. That's the closest to Scooby-Doo we've gotten so far. I think they just let it rip, and they were like, they came out euphoric, whenever that in the other room. Yeah, that was. I mean, this movie truly does go everywhere, and I was like weighing, of the first one and this one, and I'm trying to compare them, and then it's like, well, how can perfection, that was already achieved in 2002, it's like you can't really improve on perfection. That's just, you can replicate perfection again, and that is what we got. It's just in a different form, and it's like I feel like Scooby-Doo 1, there's more iconicism to it. Spooky Island, those creatures, and maybe that's my nostalgia. Maybe that's me having the longer connection to it, but I feel that Spooky Island is a little more memorable. This is more memorable for like the true. You get to know the gang better here. Like this is like I don't know. It's more than just them doing their normal day-to-day gang stuff on Spooky Island and having like the world be cool. This is just the gang being cool.
This is classic gang. This is classic gang. And one thing that I don't love about the first one, and again, blasphemous to even say something like that, but that they tear the gang apart so quickly early on.
That's true.
They act like the gang's past its prime. They act like the gang isn't in the heart of this shit. Nah, they love each other. They know each other. Now's the time to strike gold, and they do, obviously. After the end of that movie, they clearly continued their good works into Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. The best thing about this duology, maybe, is that you don't have to watch them in the right order. This could be a secret prequel. I don't know that for sure, but it could be. This could be before. What? This could be before the gang fell out.
Yeah.
That's up to interpretation, of course.
Why does Fred look kind of older? And I'm trying to. It could really work as a secret prequel. I mean, we do, go back to their old headquarters, and they have that flashback of the true, young team. But I don't know. Now that you say it, no, I'm pulling up. They look. I don't know. It's just so different. The hair is so different.
People get haircuts.
On Fred,
people get
Fred's haircut is so different from 1 to 2. Much improved on the second. Yeah, man, damn. Fred was Freddie Prinze was killing it as Fred. I don't know. Yeah, this Fred, everyone just took a level up. I feel like it's truly the gang got to shine in this one, and not that they didn't in the first. It's just I love
bigger,
the world.
It's better. They're hotter.
Spooky Island. Yeah. I don't know. It was just cool. But here, damn, they've all reached a different level.
Yeah, and I think I could talk about this movie for how much time you got. Actually. I could until the next universe begins and this one ends. That's where I'm at. I could keep going, but. To spare the listener, I think I've said all I really can.
Yeah.
For the sake of the
time
show.
going to watch the movie.
Exactly.
Stop listening to us. Go watch the movie. That's gotta save all the time possible.
I'm just glad we could preach its gospel, to the people.
Yeah.
That was really the most important thing to me. It was never about getting high and talking about something on 420. No, it was about making sure we could radicalize you.
Welcome
compel
to the
you,
good church.
So
This is, and I will, for not seeing the movie. Forgive me, Shaggy, for I have sinned. I'll do 10 Hail Scoobies tonight. Before I go to bed.
That is your penance. That was what I was going to prescribe.
Yeah, I guess. Or no, I'm 26. And it came out in 2004. So I guess I couldn't.
22. 22 Hail Scoobies.
Yeah. So I will give 22 good old Hail Scoobies, and then I'll be able to sleep blissfully. Now
and you
now
will be forgiven.
Complete.
Actually, the tenets of the Scooby-Doo religion, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed religion, they're surprisingly similar to Catholicism. So you're pretty close. Like that, they got a lot of stuff right. It's just Scooby, But what are you gonna do? So you'll be forgiven. There's no doubt about that. As is the case, by order of Buff Shaggy, Normal Shaggy, and Holy Mother of God Shaggy.
You can truly do it all. I mean, we got
They
it all
truly
like that.
can.
Come on.
Get you somebody who can do it all. You know, we love an androgynous monarch. You know, I don't want to say king or queen. Royalty, baby. But yeah, we will conclude it there. I think we're going to skip the rating. You know, this is beyond that. It's the number's not
it's
important.
Eternal.
You know,
I know.
The number's not important. 420 out of 10. You know, that's how we'll look at it this week. But we do have another show, Geek With Me, where we did cover the first installment of this franchise, and we talked about it with relatively similar revelry. It was very popular for us too. We loved that one. But you know, you can see for yourself whether we liked it more or less than this one, specifically at the time. But I'd be very compelled to find out if the second one ever came up. If you didn't realize this existed,
yeah,
I might have to go back and listen to it.
That is wild because it was a shock to me whenever like it came back up again, and my memory, I don't know, sometimes is beyond me of the things I can truly remember, and then I forget the simplest of ones. But yeah, no, I guess that was in 2022, so it would have been a while, you know, if maybe it came up there. That I feel like that is enough time, 4 years almost.
Oh
yeah, which is that's wild. But
yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a very long time since we discussed that movie. But no, it's regardless. Geek With Me is where that's available. We are also semi-actively covering Maul of Shadowlord. We've got Daredevil Born Again happening. We're talking about all that. But that's really all building the House of the Dragon Season 3 in June. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. And we will be discussing that when it comes out week by week. Looking forward to it. This Friday, we are back to regularly scheduled programming. And we're actually discussing, you know, it's funny that I talk about us bringing you new religion, as it were, because my understanding of the movie that I and Joe have not seen that we're discussing this Friday, In Silence, by Martin Scorsese, is about a group of Christians bringing the gospel to Japan. That's at least that's what I believe, if I understand correctly. Yep. So relatively similar thematically, what we're doing and the film Silence.
Not just to Japan, but to the world, to the universe at large. You know, so you know.
Yes.
But
yes.
I love Marty. It is cinema, but come on,
it won't hold a candle to this. But no, so we are going to be discussing Silence on Friday, and then our May slate is top 100 actors and actresses, and you can guarantee Matt Lillard will be atop that list. Okay, Matthew Lillard #1 across the board. But the other 99 are very important, and you should tune in just for that, at least. But I'm comfortable spoiling that Matthew Lillard will be #1. There's a chance Linda Cardellini, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar. You know, top 4. You know, I would be comfortable labeling those 4. You know, I don't know that for sure. I'd have to really, really weigh the options, but it's possible. It's possible. I don't want to rule it out. But yeah, so that's what May is going to bring us. But first, this Friday, Silence by Marty. A little Scorsese action following up the old Gosnell train. Good luck, Marty. But yeah, I think with that, we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, homie. Always a pleasure to be here.
Bunny. Went a little Yoda with that, with the But hey, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I'm gonna conclude this episode on a note that I mean completely sincerely, after one that we've had a lot of fun with. A lot of fun. Very fun episode. Very funny. This last note, not funny. Mean it with my entire soul. Remember, fuck ice.